Welcome to this machine tool video, Layout Semi-Precision. Today we will be doing a semi-precision layout on our workpiece. It is a fractional type dimension. You are looking at dimensions of plus or minus 1/64, which is a semi-precision layout. Here you have the blueprint and the workpiece you are going to be laying out. The workpiece has been squared and then coated with layout dye to make it easier to see the scribe lines. The first thing we need to do before we start establishing and laying out dimensions is to create our datum or reference corner. Most of the dimensions on the print are coming from the lower corner indicated here. I'm going to make a small mark on the blueprint to represent that datum point. The reference point on the blueprint should be added in the same position on the workpiece. Take all dimensions from that point. Next, we will mark the center line of this first row of holes using an adjustable square head. The first dimension coming upward is 5/8. That's where we'll set the square head. Lay it down. Using a sharp scribe, make a reference mark on the workpiece. Positioned at the end of your rule, lightly scribe that layout line. We are going to also make a similar mark farther down the workpiece at 5/8. To get the center line of the holes, turn the rule the other way and connect those two lines you've just created, matching it up the best you can. Lightly drag the scribe down to create the center line. The first center line has been established up from the datum reference point. Next, we'll start marking the individual hole locations. The first hole is shown at 1 1/4 inches. Set the square head at 1 1/4. Rotate your workpiece, coming off of your reference datum corner. Lay it down. Come in and scribe that first hole location. Now, we've started establishing hole locations. The next hole is located at 1 7/8. Be consistent on how you set your rule. Set it to 1 7/8. Lay it down the same way from the same edge and scribe your location. You've now established a second hole location. Continue down the workpiece, marking all of those hole locations. When you complete the first row of holes, move up and lay out the second row of holes in a similar fashion. It is important to always work off of that same reference corner. After the centers are created, we want to lay out the circles on this particular workpiece. Using a nice sharp center punch, punch that intersection by laying it down in the intersection point. Stand the punch up straight and give it a light firm tap with your hammer. This creates the center mark for the hole. At this point, we will switch to the dividing tool. It basically works like a compass, but both ends are metal. Set this to the radius of the circle you want to create. For example, to set a 1/2 inch diameter hole, you would set this to a radius of 1/4, half of the hole size. Set that the best you can to a 1/4 inch. Using the point, hook it into your center punched hole and simply rotate it around to create that first circle. The circle has been created based on the center hole position. If you were in need of these outer corners to finish up, you would do so by creating a radius the same way. Simply locate that center punch mark in from both ways. Have that light punch mark, and then come in to scribe those radii on the outside corner in a similar fashion. Go back through with your rule and double check to make certain that you've got all of your holes laid out in the correct center positions and all of the circles are the correct diameters to complete your semi-precision layout. You have completed this machine tool module, Layout Semi-Precision.